Hello there, dear viewer. My name is Colm, and with me at this time is the beautiful, gorgeous Adam Cook. Adam, how are you?
I'm fine, but I'm getting slightly alarmed because every time we do one of these little chat videos, you introduce it by telling everyone how attractive I am. Is there something you need to tell me?
You heard everything you need to know. Alright, but look, that's beside the point.
God, that's enough banter for 1 minute.
Yeah, exactly. We're here to talk about mushrooms, okay?
Yeah.
Specifically of the Captain variety. Why is he called Toad anyway? He's not a frog, he's a mushroom. Anyway, Captain Toad. Whatever the full...
Toadstool, mate.
Fair point. What's the full name of the game?
Captain Toad, Treasure Tracker.
Treasure Tracker, right, okay, so this is coming out in a bit on the Nintendo Wii U.
Sorry, I'm still laughing at why do they call him Toad.
Anyway, be professional.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, this is coming out on the Wii U in a bit, and a lot of people are very excited for it because this is basically a spin-off of the levels in Super Mario 3D World, an excellent game, and the levels themselves were fantastic. They were a nice little deviation from the main structure of 3D World. So you're allowed to talk about the first 8 courses, I believe they're named,
yeah.
8 levels basically, in Episode 1, and the first 8 courses in Episode 2. What is the episode thing about?
Well, it's kind of like, basically, the way you select levels is that there's a book, and like episode 1 is the first book, and there's a load of levels in that, and the first 8 courses are the first 8 levels in that book, and that's then the next book is book 2, and it's self-explanatory when you've seen it, but it does sound a bit weird, I suppose, when you're used to Mario style, just levels,
and worlds.
Yeah.
What is there a story attached to this?
Yeah. It's very much the usual. But it's like Captain Toad and Toadette are. I'll probably put this in the video, but the first level is literally you walk to the end of the course. Like it's not. There's no puzzle. There's no hidden elements. So you just walk to the end, get a star, and then this big huge bird, which has got a name that's escaped me, comes down, grabs a star, and Toadette is holding onto it and takes Toadette off, and you then go. You have to. It's Mario and Peach essentially.
Okay. Right.
But episode 2 flips that, because you play as Toadette. Which, I mean, they'd already announced Toadette was in the game and you play as her, so that's no surprise to anyone. But it is nice, it's different. But it's. I mean, I've made no secret of it, and like last year when we talked about Game of the Year, that Super Mario 3D World was my personal Game of the Year. I gave it a 10 out of 10. I thought it was just the best game that year. I still stand by that. My kids still play it now, and I watch it and just think that just looks... Oh, God, what a game. And yeah, as you rightly say, this is extrapolated from that. It was a small, I suppose, mini-game. I mean, there were levels.
And it worked in the context of 3D World, because it was just, every once in a while you'd have one of these Toad levels, which... For me, were very reminiscent of Fez, because of you kind of swiveling the world around and trying to find little passageways that weren't viewable from a different angle.
Do you know what it reminds me of, actually? Sorry to interrupt you, but do you know what it reminds me of, which is a bit unfair, because the Captain Toad levels came first? It kind of reminds me of Monument Valley.
Oh, okay.
But that's, I feel unfair saying that, because this came first, if you see... I mean, it didn't. It's out next year, but... what it's based on in Mario 3D World, they were before Monument Valley. So do you know what I mean? It was weird to say that, but it is very much that. It's. I hesitate to call it a puzzler, because most puzzlers you don't have direct control over your avatar, Toad and Toadette, but you do. You move the camera around, and you have to reveal bits of them. The levels aren't massive. They're not these huge sprawling levels, although some of them are quite complicated and complex in how they reveal themselves. Again, do you remember that level in Monument Valley, the box?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's quite to that. Again, different games, different styles, but they do. They reveal themselves. It's just. Here's the thing. Did you enjoy the Captain Toad levels in Mario 3D World?
I loved them.
So, I mean...
No, but that kind of brings me to my next question of... does it hold up over a prolonged period of time?
I mean, to answer that question, I'd have to probably break an NDA or get a bit reviewy, which is not the purpose of this video, so I can't really answer that.
Okay, so these specifically
Yeah.
these 16 levels.
So I will say that it's a slow starter. It definitely errs on the side of caution that it assumes you've played Mario 3D World. I think. I mean, it doesn't explicitly say you must have or have you. It just, I think that the opening is slow enough and easy enough. I think that it kind of goes. It's cautious that it kind of assumes you've played it, but it doesn't matter if you haven't because it's got tooltips that appear occasionally and tell you this, that, and the other. In fact, some of them are very helpful, and I didn't know because the game hadn't told me. Like I think you can turn Toad's light off. And the tooltip appeared, and it's like, I wish you told me that before I just died, because that would have been real useful then. But it borrows. It's difficult to talk about because you've played Captain Toad's levels in Mario 3D World, so you do know roughly what to expect here. I mean, the real question is, does it hold up as a full game? Is it, you know what I mean? And they're questions at this stage I can't answer. Although I will say, of the 16 levels we can discuss, they have the usual Nintendo charm. I hate saying that because it feels such a cliche these days.
Yeah, but because every Nintendo game is fucking charming.
You say that, but like Bayonetta is a different game. But the core first-party developed Nintendo games. The thing is about cliches is they're cliches because they're true, and I hate saying it, but it's damn true. Like Nintendo games just. You can spot a Nintendo game. You could walk through a room and you'd know a Mario Kart or a Captain Toad or a Mario 3D World or a Yoshi's I know it's called Yoshi's Woolly World, and you know them straight away. And I always find those games visually refreshing because when you play a game like the game, any game, like I reviewed The Evil Within, and that's obviously a very specific genre of game, and then you play a game like this, and it's got that Nintendo magic look, and nobody else does that in a consistent manner, I don't think.
In terms of a challenge, because a lot of people, I know you kind of said it's not really a puzzle game, but
it is and it isn't. It's
but the puzzles themselves, or well, I suppose the puzzles are the levels. Like, did you find them taxing in any way, these specific 16 levels?
Yeah, speaking specifically of the 16 levels that we're allowed to talk about, I would say I didn't find them particularly challenging, but there's more than 16 levels. Do you know what I mean? It's obviously we are only allowed to talk about those 16 levels, but obviously there are a lot more than 16 levels. The first 8 are very much introductory. They're not completely introductory, but they are slower. It has a considered opening, I would say.
Right.
Enough to draw you in. Do you know what I mean?
Does it add anything to the gameplay?
Outside of those specific levels.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. That's fine.
I mean, I've just answered that without answering it, haven't I? I mean, honestly, it's like I say. It's very much the sum of its parts, and its parts are Super Mario 3D World. Do you know what I mean? Like you know. I don't know. It really is one of those things. If you really like I really like the Captain Toad levels. As you said, they were a real refreshing sort of change of pace. Because don't get me wrong, I love Mario 3D World. I said earlier it was my game of the year last year. Was it out last year? It was, wasn't it? Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah. It's a very strange game to talk about. Like, I was talking about Halo the other week, and it's very strange to talk about a game that essentially most people are aware of and know what it is. And I can't say much more than that right now, which is daft. But you're looking at the game as we're talking. You can see the game, and I think you can make your own call from there.
Indeed. Well, Adam, thank you very much for coming on and kind of talking about Captain Toad's Treasure Adventure, Tracker. What's it called?
Treasure Tracker. This is just basically an excuse for us to show you some footage of the game, isn't it? You know what I mean? We want to show you what we're playing, and
exactly.
You've
so
seen
please,
10 minutes of it.
Please leave comments below on YouTube telling us why we should shut up and just show you gameplay footage. We'd love that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and thank you, Adam Cook, for your time.
Cheers.